we were at that time from CDC, Community Development Center. We were mainly former UKM students, University Kebangsaan students. So we all stay around Kajang, and we decided that this is going to be our involvement with society, And we used to be very active with the plantation workers, and then we moved into factories, organizing factory workers. And Cheras was the nearest place to Kajang, where there were a lot of factories. We used to leaflet saksama, what we call it, on factory workers' rights and all that. That is when that we met Koyil Vani. This was, I think, somewhere in 97. And this was also during the peak of Ladang Bremer. There was a struggle of Ladang Bremer. And a lot of these people in Bremer also work in this Guppy plastic.
Masuk umur saya 21 tahun, tahun 89 saya masuk kerja sebagai operator. Gaji harian saya adalah RM6, contoh allowance RM1, RM7. So satu bulan saya dapat gaji lebih kurang 180 lah. Kita ada kenaikan gaji, ada satu tahun dia ada naik 50 sen, RM1 macam itulah.
And then there was one day when we heard that the workers were asking for this 10 cents. Workers got this 10 cents pay increase. That was in 97, and they were very upset about it, and they all just stopped work then, And the police came. So when the police came, people got terrified, notified us because and that's how I got involved. And then we met them, and they were all women, and interestingly, very brave women who wanted to, and we found that what they were asking were very reasonable, So we assisted them to lodge a police report, we helped them, and then subsequently to form a union, and that's how we got to know the Guppy workers.
Tengok barang yang keluar dari mesin ada quality and quantity, tapi kita sebagai pekerja dia tak ada tengok quality pekerja. Macam mana kita kerja, kita bagi dia untungan banyak supaya dia boleh cari untung, tapi kita sebagai pekerja dia langsung tak ingat. So kenapa 9 tahun kita memang dah sabar kita tunggu. So masa itulah kita pun tak tahu macam mana nak tubuh kesatuan.
Tanya dia kenapa kenaikan gaji macam ni. Lepas tu besok tu dibincang, pada masa tu dia tak dapat buat keputusan apa-apa lah. Dia cakap dekat kita apa hak kita untuk tanya pasal kenaikan gaji apa semua. Kalau betul you kalau macam mana dia cakap, kita tak ada hak sebagai pekerja, tak ada hak untuk tanya pasal gaji. Kalau betul you tubuhkan kesatuan lah. Dari situ kita orang pakat ramai-ramai untuk buat kesatuan lah pada masa tu.
Kita tubuh union sebab kita mau buat berunding dengan majikan senang. Kalau pekerja ada problem, nak cakap dengan siapa? Kita tubuh union sebab ada orang nak cerita pasal problem pada majikan lagi senang. Itu bukan nak rosakkan dia punya company ke apa. Bukan masalah tu. Dia selalu salah faham. Kita buat union nak condemn dia punya company lah. Nak rosakkan dia punya pekerja lah, nak tukar fikiran kerja pekerja ke macam tu, dia ingat macam itulah. Tapi sebenarnya kita nak ringankan dia punya problem. Kalau ada kesatuan in-house, bermakna apa problem dia ada dengan pekerja, dia boleh panggil kita orang. Kita boleh berunding dengan dia. Sebab itulah kita tubuh union.
Maksudnya memang ramai. Semua pekerja, kita memang betul-betul marah dengan majikan. Kita memang tak buat keputusan, memang nak tubuh kesatuan. So kita minta tolong pada mereka. So kita tubuh, buat satu mesyuarat dekat Balakong ni. Semua members, kita punya pekerja, lokal pekerja, dekat 200. 200 pun masuk keahlian. Dalam kesatuan antar borang, ini semua yang komiti yang kita yang pegang jawatan adalah semua wanita. Semua wanita, 3 shift pun ada AJK. Shift pagi, shift 2 dengan shift 3. Semua wanita, kita tubuh kesatuan. Lepas tu, sebelum yang tubuh kesatuan tu, kita ingatlah, kita ni pekerja biasa. Kita buat antar borang semua. Dalam ni saya nak mengatakan 3 kali yang kita gagal. Kita tak dapat kelulusan daripada hal ehwal kesatuan. Dia kata ini salah, itu salah, itu salah. Walaupun kita 7 orang daripada tahun 97, kita ni berusaha. Walaupun kita ambil cuti, kawan-kawan kerja malam, diorang tak tidur tau. Habis kerja pukul 8, terus kita pergi hal ehwal. Pergi sana. Kita berusaha sampai kali yang keempat dan kita dapat juga kelulusan.
Even the trade union departments were initially not very convinced. It was saying, how come all women? Can they travel? Can they come for meetings? So it was quite ridiculous because they felt that this, for them it was quite surprising that it was entirely a women leadership.
27 April 1998 kesatuan ditubuhkan. Lepas tu and then majikan dapat tahu kesatuan telah ada dekat syarikat dia, tapi tak dapat pengiktirafan dari majikan lah. Walaupun kita dah dapat kelulusan dari pejabat buruh, tapi majikan tak iktirafkan.
Bila dapat kelulusan 27, kita hantar 30 hari bulan, kita hantar 7 orang punya nama yang iaitu sebagai AJK. 30 hari bulan kita hantar. Nasib malangnya 4 hari bulan kita dapat surat gantung. 7 pun sama sekali lah. Kita 3, mula-mula saya, pengerusi, setiausaha dan Puan Kaniema, kita dapat surat pada masa pukul 4.30 petang.
It also goes to show that that the employers have no tolerance for unions. And sometimes I wonder, what kind of protection does the government or the trade union registrar gives the trade unions? Because the minute they identify who are the leaders, the employers go and try to finish off the leaders. And it was very obvious here, And it was so obvious because initially the employer did not know who to catch. They know they're forming a union, they know people are working on it. But the minute there was one, we were told that we have to give the employer the list of the pro-tem committee. 4 days we gave the list. This is what the registrar advises. He said you must give them the list. If not, how does the employer know who to communicate with? And 4 days after we gave the list, that was in 98. I think it was the end of the last day of May we gave, and then 4 days after that, they were all suspended. The entire 7 members pro-tem committee was all of them suspended, and then subsequently 3 of them sacked. Without a domestic inquiry held. Appeal court was completely felt that the High Court should not have intervened in the industrial court decision. They felt that the industrial court is the expert when giving punishments, and the High Court should not review that. So we lost in the appeals court this year, February, and I was not there, but I got a call saying Vani is crying, and it felt very bad because Vani is one of the very brave among the 3, and if she is crying, I thought something is wrong, so I met them, that they rushed and then they were left. I said, let's meet for lunch. I met them, but Vani said she was very angry with the judge. What kind of a judgment? She wanted to scream and all this. That was anger. And then we all thought it's the end of the struggle because we've lost. Leave application. Our lawyers told us that it's very hard to appeal in the federal court. I think it was a good fight, let's call it a day off, And then we talked to the workers and said, how? Should we fight? They said, yes. And let's take it on, And then our lawyer said it's going to cost you money. It's going to be very difficult. Chances of winning is low, and you need to put out money. And then they felt that we fought all the way. Let's fight on. So we wrote to many people, came forward and donated money, and we managed to collect enough money to file the case in the. Our lawyers were very kind. They just wanted some money, which was 5,000, which we managed to collect within about 3-4 days. Many NGOs, individuals came and gave money. Some gave 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit. Some other workers also collected money. Some functions, 10 ringgit. So now the case is going to come up in the federal court, and the issue again is not whether they win or lose. It's a very serious injustice has been done to normal women who got they are not great union. They did not, who wanted to form a union to safeguard the interests of the workers, and they get sacked. The amount of letters they have sent, dozens of letters to the trade union department, dozens of letters to the industrial relation department, amount of memorandums they have sent, and so many times, it's ridiculous that these women are just victimized simply because they want to form a union, and the courts have really been unfair to them, and I think that. I've known many cases of high-profile unionists losing, but this is 3 women, with their friends,
file. Oh yes, to file. Just
Sorry.
nothing to do with okay.
3 women unionists, chairperson, secretary, treasurer. All have been sacked upon forming. 14-year struggle, now matter in federal court.
Industrial court we lost because the chairman refused to recognize union busting, although there was an blatant admission from the company during the testimony.
I'm just saying this is the standard of intellectual capacity of the judiciary in this country. They do not know these things.
Basically, it's very clear, well known that everywhere where unions are being formed, so it's legal to form unions, they're not protected.
Yeah.
You see, once a worker is like them lah, once the leaders are sacked, now 14 years already, they still cannot become, how do you expect the union to survive? We are saying, actually we don't need a trade union registrar, because unions are dropping right to the bottom, there's no protection for trade unions. Might as well close down this department, wasting public money.
So I want to know whether, because in registrar societies, they don't have the power to investigate. I don't know what kind of powers.
Recognition comes under RTU.
But if you're going to say the trade union registrar is not functioning, we need to know how they can function.
Yeah.
Or we can say they cannot function because we need to give them more powers, whatever, But if we have to also show that the trade union registrar are actively siding with the employer and closing down.
The sector for misconduct, that you were carrying out union activities during working hours. You are working on a machine and you say you were working else, you were doing something else somewhere.
So there is a general trend for union busting now.
But I think we're not educated the public enough about it. I don't think we all are even aware of all of these things. Because for me,
for these 3 women to maintain their union for this long already shows how committed they are to the struggle. It's not about money, it's not about fame, it's really about rights. And I understand that they're no longer in the employ of the company. That shows for them it's beyond just their rice bowl. They're actually, progressing the rights of the workers in that company. So why do we not, recognize and promote, the voices of women like this? You have the state clamping down on them, not giving them the justice that, they deserve. So this goes to say how we treat women in this country. It's basically that we don't respect women as much, and we don't think women are important enough and they're not part of the nation building of this country. So I think shame to the courts. They basically have not stood by women. And if the courts continue in this matter, then how will anyone have the confidence that the judges are really gender neutral and they're able to deliver judgments which promote and protect women's rights?
Do we really want to build our economy and say that we progress so well while our workers actually don't even have minimum wages, don't even have the right to form unions, don't even have the right to say that we want how many days of maternity leave. All these have to be actually taken into consideration because that is their right. And if those kind of rights are not guaranteed, then what are you guaranteeing, and why do you need a national union like the MTUC? If there's no political will, then of course this will not happen. Look, they just amended the Employment Act just, with a brush of a stroke. And if that is able to happen, this kind of amendments to promote workers' rights can also happen within a parliament sitting if you put your will to it, you see. So there's no reason why, nor excuses for them not to actually do it. But it is really the question, are they actually serving the workers' interests, or are they serving the corporate interests, you see, that only cares mainly for profit making?
But I also think that because of the trade union laws itself that enable them to take such measures, you see, so that is why I think the unions and the people who support the union movement and workers' organisation should make sure that the laws are fair. All these years the laws have been pro-management, pro-capitalist, you see. So now we must make ensure that the struggle give fairer treatment to the workers.
You know, so for me they are very, very inspiring, and this struggle of 14 years, you know, I think they are strong women. You know, I think these are the people who inspiring us. These are the people who really move us, you know, every day in our life. I think I salute them for whatever they have doing for past 14 years. Yet they are very, very strong.
சேம் lah 91 தான் வேணா அப்படின்னு சொன்னப்ப சப்போர்ட் பண்ணாருல கப்பில வந்து ஆளுங்களை பார்க்குறப்ப செகண்ட் ஷிஃப்டா செகண்ட் ஷிஃப்ட் இதெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து கப்பில ஆளுங்களை பார்க்க போகிறப்ப நம்ம எப்போதும் ஒவ்வொரு 2 மாதத்துக்கு ஒரு வாட்டி நம்ம ப்ரைக்கு போவோம் பாருங்க. ஸோ அந்தமாரி போகிறப்பெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு ஆளுங்களை வந்து இந்தமாரி தான் நம்ம வெளியே பார்க்கணும். வாட்டி நம்ம ப்ரைக்கு போவோம் பாருங்க. ஸோ அந்தமாரி போகிறப்பெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு ஆளுங்களை வந்து இந்தமாரி தான் நம்ம வெளியே பார்க்கணும். அவங்களோட வேலை முடிஞ்சு வராங்கள்ல, லஞ்ச் அவரு, தென் வேலை முடிஞ்சு வருது, இந்தமாரி டைமில் ஆளுங்களை பார்க்குறது. இது வந்து இந்த ஷிஃப்ட்டு மாறுதில்ல, ஷிஃப்ட்டு மாறுறப்ப ஒன்று காலை ஷிஃப்ட்டுனா இது மத்தியான ஷிஃப்ட்லாம். ஸோ நம்ம அது வரைக்கும் அங்கேயே இருப்போம். நம்ம கமிட்டிலாம் வந்துட்டு இப்படி தான் வெளியே உட்காந்துருப்போம் அந்த வெயிலில், அந்த கல்லுலலாம். ஸோ நம்ம வந்து அந்த டைம் பார்க்காம காலையிலேருந்து அங்கேயே உக்காந்துருப்போம் அது வெளியே. அந்த மத்தியானம் லஞ்சு வரைக்கும் 4 ஹவர் வருதுல்ல, ஸோ உக்காந்துருப்போம்லாம். இதுதான் வந்து நம்மளோட யூனியன் ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு அந்த நமக்கு வந்து இந்த மெயினாக வந்து உள்ளுக்கு ஆளுங்களோட பிரச்சனையை வந்து இந்த லேபரு ஹையார்டு ஜப்பபூர்வெலாம் நம்ம போகிறப்ப என்னென்ன விஷயம் எங்கே போய் பேசி அந்த என்னென்ன வந்து முதலாளி வந்து ஏற்றுக்கல அப்படின்றத வந்து இந்தமாரி ரிசாலா இதுதான் சோர கப்பியில் இதில் தான் நம்ம வெளியாக போகணும் எப்போதுமே. கப்பியில் வந்துட்டு தமிழாள் மலைக்காரவங்க சீனவங்களாம் இருக்கிறதுனால அதை மலையில் வெளியாக்குவோம். அப்புறம் சைனீஸ் உள்ளவங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு சீனத்தில். இது வந்து சீன மொழியில், ஏன்னா நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து மொழியெலாம் தெரியாது. சீன மொழியில் தொழிலாளர்களோட பிரச்சனைகள்லாம் வந்துட்டு நிறைய பிரச்சனைகள் வந்துட்டு எப்போதுமே பஜாபபுரு ஐஆர்டி அப்புறம் இந்த ஹாலே வாழ்க்கை சத்துவான்லாம் இருக்குல்ல, அங்கெல்லாம் நம்ம போயிட்டு வெளியே இருந்துக்கிட்டு யாரை போய் பார்க்குறோம், என்ன மாதிரி நம்ம பேசுகிறோம், அவங்களோட சலுகைகள்லாம் கிடைக்கிறப்ப சும்மா வந்து கிடைக்காது. இவங்களை கூப்பிட்டு நம்ம பேசுகிறதுனால சில நன்மைகள்லாம் கிடைக்கிறதில்ல. இதெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு அந்த அந்த முக்கியமான விஷயங்கள்லாம் வந்து நம்ம இதில் வெளியாக்குவோம்ல, யாரை போய் பார்த்தனால நமக்கு இதெல்லாம் கிடச்சிச்சு அப்படின்னு. அதனால தான் அந்த ஸ்வரகப்பி. Sekarang persatuan tu tak ada. Sebab aktiviti yang komiti baru tak ada. Yang tahun 2008 kita orang 3 ni sudah letak jawatan. So tak ada orang nak ambil alih. Ada tapi dia tak datang nak berunding. Tak ada aktif. So union tu last dia mati macam tu je lah. So yang tubuh kesatuan tu bukan senang, susah.
14 tahun lah perjuangan kita sekarang, sampai sekarang. Sebab saya nak buktikan kita tak bersalah. Tubuh kesatuan tak bersalah kan. Tapi kenapa dia buang kita tanpa sebab macam ni. Cakap kita buat perkara yang kita tak buat lah. Dia tuduh kita macam-macam lah. Jadinya saya pun malu juga dengan dia orang kan. Dengan pekerja semualah. Jadinya kita pun teruskan perjuangan kita sampai kita boleh dapat masuk kerja balik, buktikan pada dia orang kita kena buang kerja sebab tubuhkan kesatuan. Itulah.
14 tahun. Berhenti kerja 98 sampai 2012 masih berjuang lagi. Kita tak nak give up lah. Tak ada putus asa lagi. Mesti mau menang jugalah. Kita orang nak jadi satu contoh pada semua. Lagi satu, kita ni semua perempuan. Tiap-tiap kali kita pergi awal buat aduan, dia orang semua admire kita, orang cakap, wah semua wanita berjuang ya. Cakap macam tu, tapi tak ada pun sokong kita. Apa boleh buat? Sekarang union sudah jadi macam ni. Sebenarnya bukan pekerja yang takut. Yang kasih takut itu majikan. Majikan yang kasih ugut dia. Kalau you masuk union, you pun jadi macam orang yang 3 orang tu buang kerja. Kita tiga-tiga ni macam, apa dia kata, wanted list lah. Dia letak kita punya gambar dalam kilang pun sekali. Ada masa kita buang kerja, dia letak gambar kita dalam kilang. Bagi orang tahu ini 3 orang kena buang kerja sebab tubuh union. So kita mau bukti lah, kita ni bukan musuh tau. Kita buat ini semua for kita punya right. Union right. Jangan takut buat. Apa you ingat, you nak buat, hati you cakap you betul, you buat. Jangan takut dengan majikan. Sampai akhir kita berjuang.
Satu adalah memang sedih lah sebab kita wanita, yang 77 pun wanita, walaupun kita memang berusaha, yang saya mengucapkan kepada kawan-kawan lah, mereka ni memang tegas, yang kuat, walaupun mereka ada keluarga, ada suami, anak, semua ada. Mereka datang juga untuk berusaha untuk memajukan kesatuan. Tapi bila kita tahu kesatuan ni mati macam tu juga, memang sedih lah. Memang sedih. Itu yang tadi saya maksudkan. Kalau kesatuan tu nak hidup, mesti hal ehwal kesatuan kena tolong. Sebab kita adalah pekerja. Kita tak tahu banyak cara-cara apa ni, kita tak tahu. So kena memang macam mana kita rasa kalau orang yang kita sayang, orang yang meninggal tu macam mana. So memang sedih macam itulah.
MalaysiaKini.com.
Pada Malaysia Kini.
Pada Malaysia Kini.